Hey everyone, thank you for joining me on this video. I am so excited. I have a border to show you for Croptoberfest for this year. And it took me a little while, um, but I finally got the concept that I wanted to look on a border. And so let's switch over and get to it, and I'll show it to you. Hey, so here is the border. This is a layered border using three different colors of the Croptoberfest paper. And then this is the tangerine cardstock. And these adorable embellishments and stickers come in the project recipe and the little embellishment pack. So that's one of them. This is another one that I used the Croptoberfest accessory paper pack. And this one I used the brand new owl punch. So it punches the pieces to make an owl, and then you punch out the various colors. This here I used the hot fudge cardstock and the white shimmer cardstock. And then you have all the pieces to make the eyes and the little beak and the wings and stuff like that. So that's what I used this one on. Okay, so let's go ahead and I will show you how to make this border. So I'm using the fall leaves border maker punch or the decorative border punch. This one actually came out last year, but it was perfect to make this border. Now, follow along. It's going to be a little confusing. I have put in a piece of cardboard in this punch, and I adhered it down with the repositionable tape. It is 1/4 of an inch, and then the line down the middle is 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to use 1/4 of an inch measurement, the 1/8 of an inch measurement, and then also putting the paper all the way back against the edge of the border, which is what we typically do. Okay, so we're going to use 3 different sheets. The first one I'm going to cut at 2¼ inches. Okay, so we're going to cut and we're going to score each of the 3 pieces. So I'm going to take out that cutting piece and I'm going to get the scoring blade out of here. And I'm going to put the scoring blade in. Now, to get this in the middle, since this was a 2¼ inch piece, half of that is 1 1/8. So on the trimmer, I'm going to center it. I'm going to put part of it at 1 1/8 here, and then the other half part on the 1 1/8 on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to center it. 1 1/8 and 1 1/8. Make sure it's straight all the way down. And I'm going to score it. Now, don't want to push too hard because it'll rip the paper right in the middle, but you want to do it a couple of times to make sure you can fold it. Okay, so now I'm going to fold it in half on that score line. And I'm going to take a little bit of the repositionable adhesive and put it on one end, in the middle, and on the other end. This is going to make sure that when I punch it, it's not going to separate and get stuck in the punch. So on all 3 of these pieces, we're going to cut them the same way. We're going to cut on the left edge, the middle, and the right edge. So when you put the paper in here, you're going to want to line it up. And I'm just going to show you here. I'm pushing it up against that piece of cardboard. So it's going to be cut 1/4 of an inch away from the very edge. Then I'm going to move it all the way over to where you can just barely see it. So it's flush with this part of the cartridge here. Okay. So this is going to be the first punch. Now I'm going to make sure this punch is centered. So that's why I have my mat underneath it right now. The center mark right down this 6-inch line. And then I'm going to make sure that the punch is in the center here. So that way it'll punch in the same place on all 3 pieces. So now I'm making sure that I've got the center. I'm lining it up with this line here and this line here on this edge. Again, still at 1/4 of an inch down from the back. And now I'm moving it to the right side, and I'm going to put the right side flush against the cartridge here too. Okay? And then I'm going to punch it one last time. Okay? Move these pieces out of the way. Now I'm going to gently pull this apart because I did put a little bit of repositionable adhesive on it. And you have to be careful because you could rip it as you're trying to separate it. So just gently pull it open. And sometimes pulling from both sides helps it to open up easier. And if I need my multi-purpose tool, I'll use that too to help separate them out. Okay. So now I'm going to separate the bottom and we'll be good to go to the next piece. Okay. Take the creases out a little bit. And this is the top piece that we're going to work with. Okay, so we're going to use that side. The next piece we're going to use, we're going to cut at 2.5 inches. So each time we cut the next piece, we're going to go up by 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Take up the scoring blade and put in the cutting blade. Again, this is 2.5 inches. And then we're going to score it in the middle. So half of this is 1.25 inches on each side. Line it up 1.25 inches. Make sure it's straight all the way down. Score it. We're going to fold it in half. I love the other side of this paper too. Isn't that cute? Cute little owls. But I want the lighter color to show through on this one. When you do these, you want a light color, medium color, and then a dark color that all coordinate, because then that way all the different levels will shine through. All right, so now this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it in here and make it flush, but I'm going to line it up with the 1/8 of an inch line. So can you see that? The 1/8 of an inch line, I'm putting this on here, and I'm going to go all the way across. But here again, I'm going to put it flush against the part of the punch right here. Hold it in place, punch it. Okay, then again, making sure the punch is centered on the mat. This is really important or you're going to get the leaves that aren't exactly the same on each piece if you don't line it up right. Okay, so this one I am making sure it's straight across, about 12 inches. And it's along that 1/8 of an inch line. And punch. Okay, then again, I'm going to move it over and I'm going to make the right-hand side flush and make sure that it lines up straight across that 1/8 of an inch line. Okay, so now I've got the second piece punched. Pull it apart. Just remember to be real careful pulling it apart. I ripped a couple of them, so don't want that to happen on these. Okay, work on taking the creases out. So this is the side I'm going to use in the middle. Okay, and the last piece, we're going to cut at 2 3/4 inches. Start the blades, put in the cutting blade, straight blade, and this is 2 3/4 inches. Okay, that one. Okay, we're going to score it. And this one on each side will be 1 3/8 of an inch. So it's right in between the 1 3/4. I'm sorry, right in between the 1 1/4 and 1 1/2 is 3/8. Line that up there, make sure it's straight going down. I'm lining it up with the lines here on the trimmer, all of these lines to make them straight. Okay, score it. Fold it in half. Get it quite straight. It was close, wasn't exact. Okay, a little bit of adhesive. And we're going to punch this piece the same way. But now this paper is going to go all the way against the back. I'm going to put it over that little cardboard piece. Okay, so it's going all the way against the back of the punch. Again, move it all the way over till the edge is just flush with this base of the punch. Center the punch on the mat. Center the paper. The middle. Just being a little persnickety in there, wanted to stick. Okay, and then this side, again, pushing it all the way against the back of the punch. And I've got all 3 pieces cut. Now we're just going to assemble it. Once we get it pulled apart here. I'm sorry this is taking so long, guys, but you really have to be gentle with this because you want it to come out just right. You want it to look pretty. Okay. Now, since I put repositionable adhesive on the back of this, and this is the base, I want to rub off the adhesive so it doesn't keep getting stuck to my mat. And that's the coolest thing about this repositionable tape is if you've got it on something that you don't want it on, you can just rub it right off. Now, it doesn't rub off real easily off your mat, but there is a way to clean it. And my upline, Lenita Medina, has a YouTube video on how to clean your mat using some alcohol and a magic eraser, Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Okay, here's the base. So I'm going to take the next piece, put more adhesive on it. I'm going to use the regular adhesive just so it sticks down better in a few of the places. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over. Make sure it matches, that the patterns match, because if you have it upside down, it's not going to match. Okay, so make sure when you turn it back around that it matches. And then center it on the bottom piece there. This is where you're going to get your layering effect. Okay, so see how that is just layers? And now we're going to do the top one. I'm going to do the same thing. Add some more adhesive. Okay, turn it over. Make sure you've got the pattern. Now I've got this turned around. And this is the pattern I'm looking for. So now you want to center this one on that middle piece. Okay, and this part is done. Okay, the hard part is done. Now on this one, I put that tangerine cardstock on the back of it. I just took one long piece and stuck it on the back so that it just didn't have a hole going through it. And on this one, I put the hot fudge cardstock on the back of it. And I think that looks really pretty too. That gives a really good contrast. Okay. Um, this one, I don't know if I want to put anything behind it because I just may put it on one of the full sheets, the full 12 by 12 sheets of the lighter colors. And then that looks really pretty, I think. I think it stands out really well. Okay, and now I'm going to add some embellishments. So here I've got a couple of owls and a leaf and a little tiny journaling box. This is out of the embellishment pack, the Croptoberfest embellishment pack. So I'm just going to have the leaf showing through, have the owl on the top, put some adhesive on this, stick it on here, add this cute little owl. Okay, there's one. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Just put the leaf a different direction here. And then a cute little owl. Okay, now I can lay them on here like this, and they would probably look just fine, but I'll probably add some foam squares. Where did I put them? If you add some foam squares to these, they stand out a little bit better on this border. Take this paper off the back of that foam square, doesn't want to come off. Add him on there. Another couple of foam squares. Hey, and we are done. Isn't that cute? But I just love the layers. I just thought that was so much fun. I just had to share it with you guys. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you hanging in there with me. I know that one took a little bit longer, but I wanted to remind you, um, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel and you happen to like this border, check out the rest of them. Subscribe, click on the bell, and you'll get a notification every time I have a new border that comes out. And if you like the Croptoberfest products, please go ahead and get a hold of your advisor. I'm sure she would be happy to help you. And then you can show her this if she hasn't seen it already and tell her you want to make this border with all of these products because it's pretty cool. I really like it this year. The papers are so pretty. If you don't have an advisor, feel free to check out the products on my website this week through Friday at 12 noon Pacific time. I mean, Minnesota time. I guess that's like Texas time and stuff like that. 12 noon on Friday. Um, Today through Friday, you have free shipping on orders that are over $80. So that is a really cool deal. So check that out. Talk to your advisor. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to email me, deannecmc2@yahoo.com. I'd love to hear any extra comments or see photos of what you've done. You can also, if you want, join my Facebook group, Let's Scrapbook with Deanne. And I would love to see photos shared there for everyone to check out. So hope to see you on one of these platforms. And thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you next time. See ya.